I'm going to be talking today about Dominion, the movie that is the prequel to The Exorcist. And you might be asking, well, why in the world would I be talking about this now? For many reasons. I think it's very applicable to our current situation, and let me explain. Let's first do a background about the movie. The movie was, let's take a look at this. It was done in 2005, and this is what's supposed to happen before The Exorcist occurs. And it begins with 1944. A Nazi lieutenant named Kessel forces a parish priest of a small village in occupied Holland, Father Lancaster Marin, to participate in an arbitrary executions in retaliation for the murder of a German trooper. Um, it becomes very merciless, it's cruel, and then the scene changes and you see the same father or priest who goes into becoming an archaeologist in Africa, which is British Kenya, and they excavate a Byzantine church. And during the process, they discover that, which was built around the 5th century, that long before Christianity had reached the region of Africa, they were kind of excited to see that structure existed. But then they start to reach out to some of the locals, and that's when it gets a little strange and when an actual possession occurs. So I know that there's been many movies that have been referring to possessions and some of the problems similar to this, but the reason why I'm focused on this one is almost like this is like where it opens up very heavily. The word dominion, let's get back to that, is something that's referred to in the Bible. Now, I'm not trying to push any belief system or religion, but it is a lot of our language is based on some of the belief systems and a usage of religion, and so it's integrated into our society and it has certain meanings. In the Bible, they refer to dominions as those that were over a certain level of angels in the angelic realm. But to dominate or to be in dominion over something is to be in control, essentially. And at some point during the time of Jesus, later on in the Bible, you read that Satan had dominion over the earth, and he was challenging Jesus. And so then we start to see that there are more than one that can be in certain powers over the planet. So this is where I started thinking about and doing comparison. The energy that came through reminded me very much of some of the entities that I have dealt with in the past in some of my interactions as an interdimensional seer, some of my experiences in haunted places. They're very confident. There are, I call not just one devil, but many demons or entities have the same kind of persona, whereas they will try to use you as your own judge. You're judging yourself. We're going to show you what you did wrong. They project and work with the mind. They manipulate. And so this is something that has been around for a very, very long time. What I saw in the past 4 years, 5 years ago, maybe right before the pandemic, is something was unleashed, very similar to what we're looking at in this movie. And it's not really obvious. It was widespread. You see this intensified lack of consciousness, and where children and elderly people were attacked. And then it also made me think of the voting, which was called the machines that were used during that time were called Dominion. And so someone said, well, that's just a name that they used. And I don't think people use certain names like that by accident. They're declaring that they are in charge. And so, but on a greater level, I can see that something more powerful was wielding our planet, and especially certain nations really deeply suffered from this unleashing of the dark. And so this is part of the reason why I wanted to bring it up, is for people to sort of understand some of the things that I have seen and what I have experienced. Recently, I saw that there was an article that they have used certain types of lighting that the military is using now, that they actually can see these entities in the interdimensional space. And it makes it a lot easier for people like myself for validation, but I'm not doing this show for that reason. I think I'm past that at this point. My bigger concern is that if we are working in dealing with this darkness, and some people say, well, they're ETs, or are they demons? It's a combination of everything, was literally unleashed on the planet, that locked everybody down, that controlled everyone, that forced people to pretty much take a death walk in certain areas, to walk away from their jobs, to not live in a situation that they would be protected. And even now we're seeing the darkness of not protecting people in this nation who have been enduring, these natural calamities. So something to think about. I do ask the people, well, if I'm not, if you are not the type of person that can watch a movie like this, then don't watch it. Maybe look at the trailer. Maybe try to read up on the plot. This is, here again, I don't know if I wouldn't recommend this for a child or underage, but because it can be very intimidating. And some people might say, well, oh, I've seen scarier movies than that. Well, that's fine. Then you'll understand where I'm coming from. So this is the prequel of The Exorcist. The Exorcist startled the people. When that movie came out, I remember people were literally walking out of the movie theater. Some people were vomiting. They got very affected by it. This is a real deal. It's a real thing. And it can be very, very intimidating. And these powers have been around for thousands and thousands of years. They do call themselves dominions to me. I have heard them say that they have dominion over a location, that it was given to them, or whether they usurped it, decided that it was theirs. They did it through intimidation and power, and through battles, what have you. These things may have some certain level of power, but a lot of it is because humanity has stepped away and got disenfranchised by religions and belief systems, which I understand, because anything that's man-made, there's going to be, some imperfections, and that's okay. But I think if people just go into their heart at this point, and some of the people that are going through crises right now, don't wait until then. Don't wait until you're under a crisis. Do it now. Ask that these powers do not have dominion over anything around you, over your town, over your state, over your region, over your country, and ask to be freed from it. And if you can join me in that, I'd appreciate it. I do believe that we can deal with this battle, and especially what's coming up regarding elections and all that chaos that they're planning. We can ask to neutralize all of that as well. So stay strong, everyone. We're in for a ride. Doesn't have to be a rocky ride. It's up to us. So let's lift up the highest intention for humanity and allow the higher beings, the good beings, to be the dominions, those that are in power, and be in charge and in control of your own lives as well. Have a good day.